It is not time for Christmas yet. Thanksgiving isn't here. It's a few days away. Christmas decorations don't start until after Turkey Day. That's our implicit bias. It's time now for yours. I'm your host, Kavan Bordelon, and this is Implicit Bias for Saturday, November 23rd. We've got an awful lot of problems of the world to solve this week. Some are being solved, and actually some maybe need to be still addressed. Some, however, well, the solution lies not necessarily in being solved anew, but rather in being reclaimed. See, we're in a really precarious place in the world right now. We've got an offer or peace, at least, an offer of peace, rather, at least, maybe a ceasefire in Gaza and Israel, that's on the table, except the United States is really the only country to vote against it. And please don't believe me on that. Go look that one up. It's really, really important. We're, on the brink of nuclear war, apparently, on the European front. After all, our lame duck president decided it was prudent to authorize the bad comedian to utilize American weapons to fire long-range attacks into Russian territory right after Russia changed its policy of what is now recognized as nuclear instigation. These are great ideas. And yeah, if you can't detect the sarcasm, sorry, but what I'm really arguing is this, is that all of these things, all of these things, they're really not indicators of the world burning. Now, I know, it seems terrible. It seems as if the Book of Armageddon might be unfolding right before our very eyes, word by word, page by page. But the signs that make it appear as if we expect to maybe hear a computer say, "Would you like to play a game in any second?" They're really not the signs of a world on the brink of destruction. Well, let's be accurate. They're not signs of our world burning. These signs do point to the end of the world, but our implicit bias tells us it's not the end of our world, or your world for that matter. All the craziness since very early in the morning of November 6, 2024, about 2 a.m. Eastern time, and make no mistake, that's when the countdown clock really started. It's a countdown to the end of their world. Call them what you want. Call them elitists. Call them the shadow hand. Call them irresponsible. Call them unreliable. Call them the deep state. But if you had doubts they existed, the events of the last couple of weeks, they're proof. Think about it. The effort really has been in concert, meaning that there's more than one effort, meaning that there's more than one person. Do we really think that it's just a coincidence that we've seen so much unprecedented history in just the last few years? Unprecedented impeachments, unprecedented investigations, unprecedented prosecutions or persecutions, efforts to disqualify, efforts to bankrupt, assassination attempts, and now trying to start World War III? If I didn't know any better, I'd say it was an intentional plot or, a conspiracy to keep a certain person from taking control. If people we know in our hearts are criminals are that scared, there must be a reason. Well, the reason, and we've maybe known about for a while, and we, just like you, hope that it's very simple. We hope that Luke 1 Chapter 10 is relevant, right? And it's a long reading, but really the last two lines are what's important. And it goes like this, that the Son of Man has come to seek and to save what was lost. See, this tells us two really important things. The most obvious is that the Son of Man can and will save. Now, I'm not saying that this is when he comes back. Remember, he works in mysterious ways, and saving us happens pretty much every single day in all of our lives. In some cases, it's unnoticeable. In others, it's a complete miracle. Regardless, know that we can be saved many times without us even knowing. But the more important part of that sentence is what was lost. See, That means that we had something and we don't anymore. And I don't mean lost like Ellen DeGeneres' career after she moves to Europe. Let's face it, that's never coming back. I mean lost like 33,000 emails you thought were destroyed on your computer that you thought were never coming back, only to find out that WikiLeaks shows everyone what was going on behind the scenes. Only this time, what was lost was the God-given rights we and all of our fellow Americans actually abdicated to bureaucrats over the last 30 years. And that is why we are today. See, the bureaucrats, the politicians, the corrupt judges, the investigators, the attorneys, all willing to stuff their own pockets, they are scared to death right now. And they should be. We're at a crossroads in 2024, and heading into 2025, it's their world versus ours. We've always been thankful for what we have. They've always resented what they have and jealous of the little the rest of us possess. This is why, on this Thanksgiving Saturday Eve, or whatever, we are so thankful. We can't say for sure that we're on the right side of history. No one can. We can't say for sure that we'll have all the problems in the world sorted out, solved, but with weekly whiskeys, with family, with faith, at least we know that we have a shot at obtaining a just and moral implicit bias. We'll be right back.